this episode, we are going to be covering public speaking. And one of the key areas of public speaking we are going to be covering is the evaluation. Now, trust me when I say this, the most important part of being a very effective public speaker is to be a very strong and intuitive evaluator. When I say that, I mean evaluators help shape themselves as better speakers, because you are gauging every aspect of the person's speech, and that in itself will help you become a better speaker yourself. We are going to be covering the glove in this episode. Now, the glove is a Toastmasters International formula for evaluating speakers. It covers 5 key areas: gesturization, L for language, O for organization, V for volume, and E for enthusiasm. We're going to cover all 5. As a Toastmaster myself, I find it a very effective way to get you involved in really paying attention to somebody speaking. G, gestures. Now, the body language is really important when you're speaking. You can tell the nervousness by somebody's performance a lot just by how they stand, how they come up and start their performance. So when we use the glove, we start off with that first one. We look at that because it's the first thing they do is their gestures. Just from coming from point A to B, you watch them, you interact with them. Do they look at you? Do they make eye contact with you? Now, when you're a speaker, you have to look at the room. You've got to pan to everybody in sight. And just for the sake of them being there, you want to engage your audience, let's just say. Facial expressions is really important. The enthusiasm that comes out of you through your body will help tell a listener how good you are as an effective speaker. We go to L for language. Word choices are important. So the usage of certain words will be gauged when I evaluate you. I'll listen to the grammar you use and the sentence structure. So now we've just covered G for gestures, L for language. We go to O for organization of that so-called language. So when I say organization, I'm talking the introduction, the middle, the body of it, and then of course the conclusion of the speech. The organization of that will help me give a certain evaluation on the performance as I'm listening to the speaker. The clarity, the smooth transition from one point to another is really important in the organization of the speech. And of course, the speech has to carry really good speech purpose. Then we move to V for voice, the vocal variety in that particular voice. There's the tone of the voice that's used. We resonate with the emotions of our words. So if I'm making a key point to you and you see the enthusiasm in my voice, you can tell I'm excited because of the tone just fluctuated from one point to another. The pitch is important too. We don't want to be too monotone. We want to be heard. We want to be like we're talking in stereo. And the rate. Now, the speed of the voice is important. Some speakers tend to talk a little slow, and where some, of course, might talk too fast. I would gauge myself as someone who talks a little fast, so I have to watch that. Trevor, pay attention to that. And that volume, the softness and the loudness. We want to make sure the room can hear us. We have to be able to send our voice to the back of the room. All of that comes under voice. And of course, we finish with enthusiasm. How much energy are you putting out, right? How comfortable are you in your skin as you're there performing? The positive energy is so important that when you're relaying a message, regardless of what you're saying on that stage, the energy that you have to support your message is just as important as the message itself. So harness really good positive energy. Trying to reduce the nervousness. Remember, the nervousness, we're all going to be somewhat nervous. Keep the nervousness to yourself. Park it inside. No one needs to know. No one needs to see that even happening. So, we covered gesturization, language, organization, volume, voice, and E, enthusiasm. All for the powerful, mighty glove. With that said, you can't do a speech performance and use the glove without making sure it's a very positive evaluation, regardless of how you find that speech to be. And to make sure you guide yourself properly with a positive evaluation, use the sandwich. The sandwich starts off with that slice of bread on top, the positive stuff. Talk about something really nice and positive about what you just heard. Then underneath that sandwich, we put the meat, the body of it, the stuff that you may want to critique and help the person become a better speaker with. You put that in the middle. But all breads have to have another piece of bread at the bottom, right? So you want to close that sandwich. Make sure you end with something positive. You want the speakers to come back and speak again. Yeah, you do. You want that speaker to come back and speak again. Being a public speaker is a fantastic way to promote your existence. Regardless if you're speaking in a group setting, one-on-one even, and of course, volume with amount of people. Either way, the better you perform as an evaluator and picking up on things to help people improve, you are going to be a more successful and powerful and effective speaker yourself when you're out there doing your day-to-day. It's about being the champion, right? Let's not forget that. Speaking of champion, some champions are born, some are made, some are strong, and some reach old age. One thing is true, this I tell you, that champion I speak of, that champion is you. This is Trevor from TP Coaching. Thanks for joining us.